Nothing is a coincidence. The fact that you are speaking English is not a coincidence. Your spirit has specifically created a body inside of a realm where it's learning a certain language so it can connect with others. The question is, what does it say about you that you desire to speak this language to connect with all of us? Welcome to Dissect the Dialect. I'm your boy Tahuti Trismegistus, and that is what this series is all about. Dissecting the language that we're using so we can learn more about ourselves as spirits and why we're even creating this simulation for all of us to connect in the first place. So in this video specifically, I'm about to run through the whole alphabet and what A to Z means for spirits and how each letter has a significant meaning based on the number sequence that it comes in the alphabet. And then we can see how spirit moves and how we architect life. Because the fact is, we are the creators of our circumstances. And if we feel like we're not the creators of our circumstance, then that's a circumstance that we're creating so we can feel like a victim and get deeper into our virtues. So this is the whole point of learning why we're trapped in a vibe, but why are we not killing ourselves to go back to individuality? So with nothing being a coincidence, let's get in here real fast because I already broke down the whole alphabet and now I'm just about to speed run it. A is 1. So A being the first letter means that it is fire. It is an individual imagination. B is 2. So that is the spirit that is creating the individual imagination, connecting with its individual imagination. So A is 1, fire. B is 2, water. And then C is 3, air. C is what is created from A and B coming together, from fire and water coming together. Now the spirit is able to communicate and externalize how it feels on the inside, which is the whole point of air. Then we get D. So D being 4 is about boxing in this 3 and actually providing structure to the life, providing structure to the seed. From there we get 5, which is 5 cycle reality. So that's where we have energy. So everything in every simulation is energy. It's all E, it's all 5, and it's all some spectrum of light that is expressing fire, water, air, earth, and spirit. 5. So from there, we then get F. F is about sex or 6 or forcing out or putting a face on this energy and actually making it work. So that's the whole point of you have energy, everything's transforming, but what is that transformation doing? It's creating new things. So from F then we get 7. So what are we creating? We're creating separation. We're creating generations. We're all connected by time, yet we look separate. So this is the point of F going into 7, where 7 is that G. It's about separating yourself based on how you have sex. So you're in energy and you're all fornicating together, but based on how you want to be great, you generate some hate for your environment and you levitate your 7 into heaven, which means taking your thought through your own soul into an ascended space and creating new space, creating new room for you to express yourself. That's the idea of heaven, right? You have all the space you want for your ego. So now you're good. So that's the whole point of G. G is you separating from energy so you can develop your own H. And that H is your soul. That's your home. That is how you feel no matter where you are in the universe. Then once you have H, which is the number 8, we can then get the I. Now that you have your own soul, you have your own I. You have your own perspective on life and the universe because you have your own feeling that's separating you from being at the reaction of just the water that you're in. So this is where I then becomes J. J is all about Jupitering out, expanding your imagination, expanding your I, so that you can colonize and be in heaven because you're comfortable only looking at yourself. That's the idea of heaven, is that you're connected with yourself and happy. But white supremacist heaven is forcing other people to connect with them. So then that's where white supremacists need to go out of their spaces and colonize other people's spaces and use ideas like, hey, you're not creative, to then steal the creations from other people. So that's where J turns into K. It's about killing people with kindness. So you can J on them. And that's how the J colonizes the I of indigenous individuals. So now indigenous individuals can only see white supremacy because white supremacy has expanded its J into their space by killing them while looking kind. So then this is where K becomes L. And now that K, once you kill other individuals with kindness, you can then control them with light. And this is why L is 12 and the clock is 12. So it's all about you developing clockwork on how you connect your individual perspective to other individuals. And that's all we're doing for infinity and beyond. No matter what you're doing, it's going to be, if you're experiencing life like this, you using light, you using your own L to articulate your internal perspective to the external so you can connect it with your kindred, with kinfolk, with other K energy, with kids. We're all kids playing around, and we're doing this repetitively like a clock. From there, though, that's where that L being a clock, we can't just go through cycles forever. We have to make it matter. So now we have L into M. L is about playing, but M is about making it matter. So now we're making money, right? So this is why time is money. So the clock is showing time and how we go through time, and then L into M is making money off of how we cycle through time, and thus making it matter. And that's how we actually learn more about what we value and who we truly are on the deeper inside or whatever. The fact is, though, who we are in the inside is in nothing. And that's where going from L into M, no matter what matter, no matter how much money you have, no matter how much material you think makes you something, that N will always be there to remind you that you're nothing. And that's where we get O. So M in O. So M is, I have all this material. N is, but it means nothing. It means nothing. O. How do I feel about that? If you feel good about that as a spirit, then boom, you're good. Like that shows that you are developing a good relationship with matter, knowing that everything means nothing. Because that's great. Nothing is great. Nothing is your spirit. So it shows that if you love yourself, then you're okay with everything meaning nothing. If you don't really love yourself, if you don't really love your nothingness, then you're always looking for something. And then that's where people get depressed because they're like, life doesn't mean anything. And it's like, yeah, it means you. Come on, your life. What are you doing? So O is all about you perfecting this orgasm inside of your organism. All organisms have orgasms to make life. And it's all coming from nothing into something, which is the matter or the material. So this is where O is about you feeling good about your space. And then from there, your P is perfecting how you pleasure your own space. How do you pump into your O so you can perceive and project something that is actually awesome and feels good for other people? And then this is where O, P becomes Q and then R. Because that P, that perfection, leads to a question of how do I attain perfection? Like I have a feeling. And then this P is my idea of how to perfect this feeling. But then the Q is what do I do to do that? And then that's why question and quest are the same word. Your question leads you on a quest. So you're in your own space feeling good. But then when you have this P, this idea of perfection, the Q is almost always going to lead you on a quest out of your space. And then that's where we get R. You ravish a realm of reality. You arm someone. That's why your arm is about manipulating and like entering spaces and everything. So R is 18. So that's where R is about using your individual perspective to enter souls and become a 9-dimensional being. So this is what realms and realities are. And the idea of ravishing someone or just doing anything repetitively. So you're repetitively putting your P into your O. And then you're also doing that by going on a quest to spaces outside of yourself so you can learn more about who you are when you are alone. Because when you're just alone, you can't actually learn who you truly are. Like you need to interact with spirits outside of yourself to get a greater perspective on where you're at in the universe. See how we have to create life as spirits in order to actually level up, or else we're just alone. And then it doesn't matter. Oh, look at that. It doesn't matter. We create matter from nothing based on our feelings about nothing. That's what MNO is all about. P is our perfection, Q is the question, and then R is the realm in reality. That is us repetitively attaining perfection based on whatever we have. And then that's where we get R leading into S. R is that repetition of the P into the O, which is sex. And then that's where S, being sex, is all about stabilizing yourself, ideally. So you have sex with yourself, and then that's where S becomes T, the ST ability. So once you wrap your serpent around yourself, you then create your own tree. And that's where you can get the caduceus with the serpents around the staff, or just in general with Hermeticism, serpents around the tree. It's all about what I'm talking about here in English, ST ability. Your ability to silently have sex with yourself to create your own tree that bears its own fruits that you can vibe with. And then this is STUV. So that T, you have your tree. Now you are the product of how you connect with yourself. That's why T is 20. It's about more space for connections, more space for water. So you are the product of you connecting with yourself. And then from there, you have fruits to give to people. And that's where U becomes V, because these fruits, the U, your basket of these fruits and you carrying them becomes heavy as people start to eat them. And just in general, as you have gifts and stuff. So this is where U is about then you getting trapped in a vibe. And as you get trapped in a vibe, you're then giving your fruits to other gods. And now everyone is in this vibe. ABC, element of QRS, ABC, EFG, JK, element of PQRS, TUV. Yeah, right. And so then once you're in this vibe, so you are in this vibe, you're giving fruits out. So other gods are in this vibe. But in general, you have fruits to give. This is about you. So you have fruits to give, and now you find yourself in a vibe. So you have gifts, but you're in a vibe now, and it's lost. And as we know with the vibe, you can go between victimhood and virtue ship, or virtuehood and victimship, something. Virtues and victims. Virtue is one side of the vibe, victim is the other side of the vibe. And then that's where when you're in a vibe, when you're in water, it's going back and forth between I'm creator and I'm created. And it's just this ebb and flow. So then that's where UV leads to W. And W is double U. So before there was one you were alone. But now you're trapped in a vibe because you had gifts you want to give. But then the question is, what are you doing? Where are you? Double U. You're connecting with another God inside of a vibe. And then this is where W, these questions, lead to X. X is the answer. Where are you? Why are you? What are you? When are you? You are X. You are sacrificing your individuality. You are sacrificing your individual you so you can vibe with other gods. And then this is where we get X, Y, Z. So Y is that answer. Y is that separate answer being, 25. So it's the number 7. So we're all in this simulation and we all look the same. But the fact is, all of our reasons for being here are infinitely different. And that's our individual thought. So that's what separates us. We're all separate based on why we're here. You can project onto me why I'm here, but all you're going to do is kind of tell me why you're here. And if you're not actually wise enough to listen to me and listen to others to get our perspective, then this is where projection is perception forever. And perspective, projection, perception is all about your perspective, this triple P energy. So W being where you are leads to why. Oh, this is why I'm here. I have my individual thought, my reason why I'm in a simulation. Now I can Z. Now I can sleep. And this is, boom, this is it with the English alphabet. We can see why nothing's a coincidence. See how it just broke down all of reality and how we create life? Because the fact is, we sleep. We all sleep in these bodies because gods are woke, right? Gods are too awake. When you're alone, you're just aware. You're just completely aware of yourself. And then that's where the only way to like pleasantly vibe and not be aware of yourself is to sacrifice your individuality on the X and enter into a vibe where you are not in control, and you have to abide by rules, and you have to play the game just like everyone else, because this is how we can connect. We all agree to play by the rules of a certain simulation that we set up so we can connect and we can relate inside of certain boxes with these terms, with this language, boom, and then we can actually build something from there. Now, if people want to make money and control how we connect and how we relate, they're going to keep us as ignorant as possible and just make us use their tools to build their stuff. So that's what's been happening with the colonization of the Americas and everything. This is why the nature spirits have called me away from Mercury to come and contribute my mind into the English language and assist with this awakening based on everything that's going on here. These colonizers are clearly using my caduceus to sell medicine and practice healthcare and make insane amounts of money doing that with my creation. Like, they're using my caduceus. These are like the US, these American corporations, these American healthcare facilities are using my creations to poison and colonize indigenous peoples and everyone who supports the genocide of indigenous peoples, aka basically everyone, sadly. They're doing all this with my creation underneath the idea that they're healing you because I'm a doctor. I'm the one who knows that everything is connected through chi and all of our bodies are a product of communication. Hence why I'm the master of alchemy. I'm the master of medicine. I'm the master of just so many things because everything is communication, bro. It's like, it's simple to me. It's simple to me. This is just how my mind works. And these white supremacist entities are using my creations to convince you that I'm not real and that you're not real and that you're not creative, that you're not a spirit, but they're using the creations of spirits to convince you that you're not a spirit. So this is why I'm here. This white supremacy stuff is insane. The fact that we've been forced to speak English like this is insane. So this is why I'm breaking down the alphabet and everything, so we can actually be hyper conscious of how we communicate and be hyper conscious of how we create life through us combining our thoughts and feelings as spirits, as nothing. Peace out. I'll see you later. Stay beautiful and stay connected to your nothingness. Listen out in your O with your P, getting the reps in to have sex and create some stability so you can vibe with us where we are, which is the universe. We are the universe. You are the universe. This is why you are always the center of your universe. You can never run away from yourself. Anyone who's trying to say that they were created by someone that's not them is someone that's running away from themselves. And they admire this person more than they admire themselves. And that's just going to be a journey of you learning how to love yourself. That's all life is going to be. Like, ever. You learning how to love yourself more so you can actually be happy in your own space and be alone. Because it's very easy to get lost in simulations. We're going to see a microcosm of it here in this reality, where people are going to get lost in virtual reality. And they already are lost in the internet. Hence why I'm here doing this on the internet. Because people don't care about nature. People certainly aren't in the astral realm here. They're not fasting. They're not able to communicate in that. I literally have to be here in a body using the English language as people get more and more indoctrinated into looking down at their phones so that this grid of information can just suck their soul. So these are all tools, right? This is why you're watching this, because we are, again, consciously communicating. When we know that we create life and we are not created by life, then we don't get created by life. Most people out here, since they're trained by white supremacy to believe that they're created by life, they thus believe that and make it real. So now they're like, oh, I'm created by life. And then they're just at the whim of the language that they're speaking and the bills that they're paying and how they're literally supporting climate change and genocide of indigenous peoples right now based on how they're communicating. But because they're taught by the people that are killing indigenous peoples and destroying the planet that they're not creators, they don't feel like they have the power to stop these things. So this is like the spiritual awakening. If we want to actually reverse climate change, we have to take responsibility for the fact that we're all God and we're all creating this planet right now. and thinking that you're cool or better than someone because you throw your stuff in the trash, but you're still supporting the people who make the cups in the first place is insane. Like, there's so many people, I deal with this hilariously. I see it a lot where people try to get on their high horse of, oh, I can't believe that person littered. They littered. I would never just throw my trash in the street. Cancel them. They threw their trash in the street. The street is trash. Bro, like, the fact that you believe that that trash isn't trash once you throw it into a plastic bag and then a pollution pumping dump truck takes it away to still just put it in a landfill away from your eyes shows how lost in light you are, right? So I get it. People want to care about the environment. No one likes seeing someone litter, but the fact that you're supporting the people who are even making the litter in the first place is insane to me. You know, like, that's awareness I don't understand. This is stuff I've been talking about my whole life. Like, since I was a little kid, I've been talking about this as far as how are people driving literal objects, like literal vehicles that they would never inhale the exhaust pipe, like, oh, turn the car on, but they're okay pumping it in the air. Again, just shows how, like, lost everyone here is, lost in light. They don't see how everything's connected. They don't see how they are what they eat and how they're also creating life. And it's insane to me. So I'm very passionate about this, as you can see, and I'm about to calm down a little bit. So this is how you as a spirit create life from A to Z. And specifically in this simulation, why we're here. We all have our own A, but the only way that we can connect our individual imaginations to each other is to sleep with each other, aka create the astral realm like this, where we can turn our fire into water, actually, go to sleep and be unaware, be at the whim of our emotions, be at the whim of feelings, and now we're consuming what other gods create. Now we can start eating instead of creating. Because when you're a god, you're just in creation mode, and you're never consuming. Fire is consumptive to the environment. That's because it's so focused on projecting and transforming the environment in its own creation. So water is actually creative, and then this is the balance of us learning about ourselves through elements. So that's it. Peace.